Alright everyone, this is partway into the gel polish competition that I filmed. The only thing that I didn't film was the base coat. I did put a base coat on all the nails, and I'm just going in and doing the red nails first just because it was easy and I could get it out of the way and focus more time on the French, which takes a little bit longer. And the way that I decided to do my French, and I practiced like so many different ways to get it, and I just couldn't find the way that gave me a really nice crisp line. So what I'm doing here is I'm putting on the pink, I'm doing a little bit thicker, and I'm almost dragging a little bit more of it to the edge into like a French shape, and then I'm wiping that line clean and giving it a flash cure. And then I went on all three nails and did that, and then I went in and pushed my pink up to that line that I had wiped out, and then I went and refined it by wiping it again just to make sure that it was all clean. And you can see here that I'm just kind of like touching up the sides, making sure that the sides are even. They didn't get as even as I would like. When you are working on yourself, you're looking at your hand a specific way, and so I've noticed that all my lines were a little higher all on one side, but it was all consistently, they were all consistently high on one side, so I think that was okay. And then I'm going in with my top glass, and what I'm actually doing here is I'll put the layer on, and then I would tip my hand upside down so that it would create a nice arc to the nail, and also so that it would take any bulk from the tip away, because I really wanted them to be thin and nice. And yeah, so that's what I'm doing there. And I did do a little filing on the free edge because that was allowed, just to make sure everything was nice and clean. And then I noticed that I had a tiny little bit of white missing on some of the corners, so I touched that up and then re-top coated those ones. And then I did do a wipe off top coat, and then I just cleaned my hands with a baby wipe, and I did underneath the nails as well. It's really important to have it all clean. That was the finished result. And this is the other one that I remembered to film, which is the 3D bling. And so I just had all my trays out and I kind of sorted them out into shape and size. And when you're doing a competition like this with a model, your model actually helps you quite a bit, just by like being able to turn their hand. And there was times when I like was getting her to use her finger beside the stone to hold it while I cured it under the light. And you'll see even in the background, you can see my neighbor, we're holding our lights in all different ways because we want to make sure that we're curing underneath, because the judges do check the stones. They kind of are a little rough on them to make sure that they are secure, and that is part of your points in your judging. So I'm just going through, and my plan for this when I saw the stones that I got, because you just don't know what you're going to get until you get them, was to create kind of like a floral theme. And some of the stones worked really well that I thought, oh my god, these will make perfect petals, but they ended up with a lot of round kind of pointy back ones. So in order to use those and make something more 3D, I created little swirls on the backs of forms, and then I popped them off, and I covered them with no wipe top coat, and then I secured them with Bling It On. I used Bling It On for both of my bling competitions, the regular and the 3D, and it worked really well. It kept all the stones secure. My model didn't lose her stones for either one. And then after I got them all on, oh yes, I also did another little formed one where I kind of folded the form in half, and I made two little petals and joined them together, and to make a little flower with some more pointy back stones, just to give them the lift that I was looking for. And you can see my model is twisting her hand in the light, and that was like some conversations we'd had just to make sure that everything was cured, and just, yeah, getting that light to make sure everything is cured is so important for this one especially, because they do test and make sure everything is secure. And then I kind of go through and do a no wipe top coat over everything because I don't want anything to be sticky, because they will check that as well. They really feel up the fingers and the gems. And so I go around with my regular brush, and then I go in with like a detail brush in some areas as well with the no wipe top coat, just to make sure everything is not sticky and secure. And then I go through and wipe everything and trim any little strings, and then I buffed the stones because I had time this time. And then I went over again and made sure everything was super shiny, because I just wanted no fingerprints or no stickiness, anything on those stones, just so they would be nice for the judges. And those are the finished results. Now this one is kind of a bit of a bonus. This is the at-home part of the photography challenge. So I did a time lapse. This was actually probably about 5 hours. We did have a break for lunch, and we did take a couple breaks, but this is the time lapse of everything. I sculpted out one hand at a time, just so that she would still be able to use her hands and stuff for like when we were eating and taking breaks. And what I wanted to do was create the vampire teeth. So the two ones in the middle would be like your front teeth, and then the two beside would be the fangs. And I blinged them out with white opal Swarovskis and then red Swarovskis as well. And I really wanted everything to be very like linear and perfect, as well as having that kind of looking like a splash of blood. So I went through with that. I used my bling on, and then I top coated around the stones just to hold everything in place. And I was kind of taking little progress pictures as well. And then with this hand, I wanted to sculpt them out like nice and crystal clear. And then I went in with red and kind of went about halfway to where her natural nail is, and then I used the fun gel and then dragged the red through so it looked like it was running. And I used double-sided tape on the bling ones, so I was able to pop them off, but we ran out of time for the other hand, so I just had to file those ones off for her. This is some close-up of my box mixed media. I unfortunately didn't film any of me making this. It really took a long time, as I was pretty new to acrylic, but this is, sorry, it's not landscape. This is just some of the features that it had, and that's all for now. Thanks so much for watching.